This was going to be a short review.
Camera ready. Quiet on the set.
Stand by.
Stand by,
On
camera
5,
one. Stand by to
4,
mic and cue.
3, 2, 1.
Halloween Kills pick up where the last Halloween franchise movie left off. And I have no idea where that is because I didn't see the last one. But I liked this one. And I didn't. Full disclosure here, I've never been a horror movie fan. As a kid, I was too scared to watch. As an adult, I don't find horror movies scary at all. They're too formulaic and people really only go for one reason. To see the monster spill lots of blood. In that regard, you won't be disappointed. Let's talk about the script. I weigh my final rating most heavily on the script. With that said, I was thankful that the storyline for this Halloween movie was written so that even people who were somewhat unfamiliar with the last one could still enjoy this one. Long story short, I could mostly follow the plot. Put simply, it was about a madman named Michael Myers who came back to his hometown after many decades to kill many of those who survived his previous attacks. What made that premise interesting is that this is 2021. We're no longer in 1980, 1990. This is the time when people like me will not stand around and scream bloody murder and allow a murderer to go around town murdering my friends and family. No, I sympathize with the characters. Just as I would fight back, the townspeople fought back. This is where the script breaks some of the horror film formulas. People don't run away from the murderer. They run towards him. The prey becomes the predator. They seek him out to finally destroy the one who has haunted them for years. And now that I've recorded this far, I just realized I left my gray card, white card and black card here on the table, so I'm going to go ahead and move it off screen. But there are some problems with becoming the predator. There's a hospital scene where a mob runs after a man they suspect to be the murderer, Michael Myers. But he isn't Michael. Overcoming law enforcement, the mob eventually reaches him, but not before he jumps out of the window multiple stories high to his death because he didn't want to face the mob. There are various statements before and after the man does it. One of them is when one of the protagonists, Karen, points out to the character Tommy, one of my favorite characters, that everyone was becoming the very thing they sought out to destroy. A murderer. Now, I'm not going to get all political on you, but I kind of will, because the scene reminds me of something that happened in real life. I reminisce back to January of this year, 2021, when a mob stormed the Capitol building. That mob killed a policeman and others died as well. The scene in the movie seemed to be a direct comparison to that attempted coup. And yes, I did say attempted coup. Sure enough, in the movie, just as in real life, the mob and the leader of the mob, ironically one of my favorite characters, glossed over the fact that they had become exactly what they set out to kill. By the end of the movie, another protagonist, Lori, was talking to her friend and police officer Frank Hawkins. They were discussing how to kill Michael Myers and what makes him so powerful. Turns out that Michael thrives in an environment of fear. And anger, which is based on fear, is what divides us. I interpreted those words to have a direct connection with our country's political divisions. Each side, Republicans and Democrats, Trump supporters and Trump haters, is afraid of the other. that fear turns into anger, which devolves into blaming each other. I hate to have gotten all political on you, but that's how I read the movie's overarching theme. Let's talk about the acting. I thought the actors were all pretty good. I wouldn't say their performances were worthy of Oscars per se, but that's the script's fault, not theirs. My favorite characters were Tommy, played by Anthony Michael Hall, and Allison, played by Andy Matichak. And let's not forget Michael Myers, which according to Wikipedia is played by 2 actors depending on the scene. Thumbs up for the acting. Let's talk about the audio. The audio is never overdone and music is used to great effect. When the Halloween theme comes in, you know something is about to happen. And music is never too loud. Thumbs up for the audio. Let's talk about the special effects. Special effects were realistic. I'm specifically referring to the makeup and use of fake blood. When someone would stab Michael Myers or get stabbed by him, it looked like it was really happening. The scene when the firefighters were fighting him instead of the fire was obviously well rehearsed. The camera direction superbly took those effects and made the scenes very potent. Now let's talk about the color grading. Different color palettes in post-processing help to differentiate flashbacks from the current plot. Color grading made those flashbacks look like they were shot in the 70s and 80s, even though most, if not all of it, was new video. All scenes from the current time period were at night, either outside or inside, often with low light. Considering the latter, the colorists brought out people's faces and other details quite well. Perfect white balance, and I mean perfect white balance, of hospital scenes were achieved, as was for outdoor scenes. Scene-to-scene color matching was natural as expected by the human eye, while emphasizing the actors, blood, props, or other objects as required. Thumbs up for the color grading. And now for my final thoughts. I was going to give you a short review, but this turned out longer than planned. I had a lot to say. Ultimately, I enjoyed this film and give it a 7. The color grading was fantastic and helped to emphasize the horror on the screen. Actors took on their roles rather well. While the script follows some common tropes for horror films, it often steered away from those expectations. The special effects and audio then melded all the film aspects into somewhat realistic action. It seemed that even our current nationwide divide came into question. Yes, we are divided. Perhaps that's why this film was so engaging to me. I saw the storyline as a metaphor for what we are already living. And it's not a stretch to hope that the sequel to this film will help give us the answer to how we can resolve our differences and work together. Right now, we're doing this. Whereas what we should be doing is this. As always, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and tell me what you thought about this review in the comments below. And I'll see you in Ramon's First Take Movie Reviews. Goodbye.